Hello, this is Nurse Debbie here at Inspire Abilities of Anderson County. Today I'm going to be talking about modified diets and swallowing disorders checklist and how to properly fill that out. I'm going to start with the swallowing disorders checklist. This is something that we do every year on every individual here. You will see that it has 3 different areas. That is for 3 years. So you use this form continuously for 3 years. You will mark each box accordingly, answer it yes or no. If there are any new yeses in each box, you will notify the nurse and she will fill out a follow-up assessment. If you are unsure how to fill out this form, you will call nursing and they will help you, okay? Make sure that you are putting the date you filled out and you put that person's weight, okay? Any previous choking incidents, we will also fill out this form for any choking incidents that they have or any new changes that they have in their swallowing, okay? So every year this is filled out before the new year comes. So this is on every individual that is here, okay? So what happens if they have a new yes, we fill out the follow-up assessment, as I said. We send that to DDSN, which comes with a consultation summary, which will lead me to our diet. And I'll talk about each diet in detail. So each person will get a consultation summary, particularly to them. It will have their name, it'll have their history, it will have if they've had modified barium swallows, which is a test to check to see how their food digests, how it goes down, if they have any problem swallowing. So it will have recommendations on there. You have to know what that person's recommendation is and what that diet is. And we have certain diets here that we have DDSN consistency approved diets. You have to make sure that you know that person's diet, because if you do not serve that person the appropriate diet, you could face legal action up to prison time for not giving that person the appropriate diet if it was to lead to a choking incident, which leads to death. So please make sure that you're giving that person the appropriate diet. So in your assessment, you will read, and then it says provider follow-up. It will tell you what your recommendation is, okay? So in these, every house, every person will have either a recommendation or a doctor-ordered diet, okay? So our DDSN suggested diets are, you have bite size or nickel size, which is approximately 3/4 of an inch, about the size of a nickel. You have chopped consistency, which is dime size or approximately the size of a dime, okay? You have ground consistency, and that is all foods are ground in a processor to a cottage cheese or rice consistency, then moistened with gravy, okay? You cannot give them dry, crumbly food. That is a choking hazard, okay? Do not serve bread to them. It is a choking hazard. You have pureed consistency. That is going to be like applesauce or pudding, okay? It should not have any solid pieces or particles in it, okay? If they have soft foods along with their diet consistencies, those foods should be easily mashed with a fork. That means you can take that fork and push through it, and that fork should go all the way through, okay? Some examples of those diets, you have a whole consistency. That is if that person has a regular diet, no modifications, okay? You have your bite size, which is nickel size or smaller. You have chopped consistency, which is dime size or smaller. Then you have your ground food consistency. And again, this must have some kind of gravy, broth. It cannot be served dried or crumbly, okay? Got to have some kind of moisture on it, okay? Then you have pureed consistency, okay? Pureed consistency, again, has that pudding or applesauce consistency. No particles, no chunks. It's not too watery. It's just got to be that applesauce pudding consistency. It shouldn't have any kind of water or broth floating on top of it. You should, when you're pureeing that food, you should add some chicken broth, beef broth, to add a little bit of flavor and to help make that consistency. Okay. Pureed foods are the least restrictive foods, or the most restrictive foods. Make sure that if you have someone with pureed foods, that they are getting pureed foods, no whole foods. Nothing like this for a snack. This is not pureed, this is whole. It all has to be pureed, everything they get. They may even have their medications crushed or put in applesauce. Okay, so make sure you pay special attention to that. They may also get thickened liquids. You may see thicket, that is powder thicket, and you may add it to their drink. Everything that they drink has to be thickened, even the water that they take their medication with. Okay, you will see powder thicket, or you may see the thicket that comes in the pump bottle, which is the Simply Gel. You have either nectar thick or you have honey thick. Honey thick is the thickest form of the liquid, and you will not be able to get that through a straw. Okay, that is fed most of the time with a spoon. Thickened liquids, you cannot put thickened liquids in anything like ice cream, sherbets, water ices, anything like that. When you are preparing the thickened liquids, I just lost my train of thought. Stop a minute. When you're preparing thickened liquids, you want to make sure, again, that you do not give it in gelatin, ice cream, sherbet, water ices, smoothies, things like that, because it does change that consistency. You have directions on the boxes to prepare each consistency, whether it be nectar or honey. Please make sure that if your individual is on thickened liquids, that they are getting that. It's there for a purpose, so that person doesn't aspirate. We do not want our individuals to aspirate, because that can lead to aspiration pneumonia, which can make them very sick. Make sure that when you're giving their medications and you're giving them their water, it's very, very important that they get that thicket to go along with their medications, okay? Also remember that the longer that the thicket sits there, the thicker it gets. It's not something that you can fix and use over an extended period of time. It has to be used right then, okay? Honey consistency, like I said, will not go through a straw, but your nectar consistency will. Also make sure that you're reading your recommendations on your swallowing, because some people cannot have a straw. Some people can have a straw, some people cannot. You also have restrictions like they have to have high-sided dishes or special spoons. Those will also be in your swallowing recommendations. They may even have things like acid reflux, where they have to have things like a bed wedge. These are bed wedges that go underneath their bed for acid reflux. So all of those things are recommendations that we have to follow. Last but not least, please make sure that you're following these diets accordingly. Not only the texture and consistency, but also if that person is a diabetic, or if they are have cholesterol issues or hypertension issues, that they are getting the appropriate heart healthy diet or diabetic diet. Make sure that that person is getting sugar-free snacks and snacks that are appropriate for them. Okay? If you have any questions or need additional information, you can always reach out to the nurses here at Inspire Abilities. Thank you.